What's up, everybody? Auditing Mabton in the house. What's up? How's everybody doing? I'm gonna give it a few minutes as usual, as always, before we start getting into the Mabton news. If you just tune in, hit that like button, helps with the algorithm, as usual. So, how's everybody doing? Smash that like button if you're just tuning in. We hold government officials accountable. I got some news regarding Mabton. Sorry. So, Mabton, as you know, is still struggling with finances. There's a lot of funds in Mabton that are still unaccounted for. Recently, the Washington State Auditor just posted a couple weeks ago their findings in regards to their fraud and investigation report on Mabton. And you can check that out. It's in my community post on YouTube. It's going to have everything there regarding the money that was stolen last year, which everyone pretty much believes was an inside job. Over $20,000 was stolen. The mayor doesn't want to speak about it. So now I just found out that Mabton is or has given these new police officers that the mayor hired sign-on bonuses. And this was never discussed with any of the council members. This was never brought up before to any member of the public. This was never posted publicly. This was never spoken about in any of the agendas in the council meeting up until the other day. It was brought up, and there was a council meeting yesterday, which I want to go over that video. It's going to be a short live, and pretty much what I'm trying to say is Mabton has thousands of dollars unaccounted for, and now they're giving these police officers sign-on bonuses of, I believe, $5,000 sign-on bonuses, more or less, and the mayor just approved this without any talks with anyone in the councils, which it needs to be approved by council before this can be implemented. But when it came time to confront the mayor, which is what happened in this council meeting, which I'm about to play in 2 minutes, instead of the mayor taking accountability, what does she do? She deflects. And she passes it on to the next guy, as she usually does. In this case, it's the former chief, the one that I put under investigation for failure to act on behalf of his duty as a police chief, failed to investigate a crime that happened to my car, and he resigned. But yeah, she's blaming it on this chief that no longer works in Mabton, conveniently, because, you know, that way she don't take the blame for it. So this is nothing new with the mayor. She never likes to take responsibility for actions. She's always throwing the responsibility on other people, whether it's the council, whether it's the previous government officials before her, but she can never take responsibility for her current actions. And I just found out that she's also not paying her water bill, yet she still has running water. So not only is she stealing money from the city, now she's getting away with not paying her water bill. And apparently she's not the only one. Other people as well have been doing this. So it makes me wonder how long this has been really going on. So if you guys are curious, I suggest putting in some public records into Mabton. And if you need help, just shoot me an email, auditingmabton@gmail.com, and we'll get it done. We'll get the public records done. And if they fail to respond, we'll go from there, and we'll figure something out. So without further ado, I'm going to share that video with you guys, and then we'll dissect it. I haven't seen the full thing, so it's going to kind of be a reaction video, I guess, if you will. So let me get it ready. Smash that like button, guys. What's up, Count Up Caveman? Thank you for seeing my seat. I haven't forgotten about you. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Smash that like button. Smash that like button, my people. Smash it, smash it. Don't break it. Hold on. All right. So I already fast forwarded to the part where they start talking about the bonus. That way I could spare you guys the boredom, because these meetings are usually very boring. So
12, authorizing the mayor to provide a hiring bonus in the amount of $5,000 to the existing lateral officer Rodriguez and Sergeant.
So this is a new ordinance. So the mayor is deciding now to put an ordinance regarding these hiring bonuses, which were never approved. But now she's deciding to put an ordinance, so that way it will go into effect, and it would pretty much CYA, cover her own AS, right? So it's a very sneaky tactic on her behalf, and she's doing this, of course, to cover herself. So it just boggles the mind, because where's she getting all these funds? Mabton doesn't have an unlimited amount of funds. Thousands of dollars have been stolen. Thousands of dollars have been spent that are unaccounted for, where the treasurer doesn't know where any of this money has gone to, because the receipts don't add up with the deposits. And then now these new police officers are getting higher raises. They're coming on the job for higher salary. They're getting these lateral police officers are getting these sign-on bonuses. Where is all this money coming from? The mayor's not paying her water bill along with other people as well, and they're still getting these utilities, even though it's not being paid for. What happened to the money that was stolen last year from Mabton? Nobody knows, right? So how does the city of Mabton, who has also been sued plenty of times, which they have paid out settlements, if you don't believe me, do a public records request for the year of 2025. How many settlements has Mabton settled? If you're curious. So let's go back to the video. I don't want to talk too much because I want to make this short, but I want you guys to see what I'm seeing. Let's get back to it.
That is. Any questions?
I was just loud.
So, when Sergeant Chief Aragus was here, he was looking for officers to come on, and my understanding was he had offered a bonus to bring them on, because other cities were doing the same thing, and they were doing a little bit higher than what the.
Okay, first of all, she's saying that Chief Aragus has offered a bonus. Okay, first of all, he can't just offer a bonus. The chief doesn't have power to offer these bonuses. You know, this has to go through the mayor. This has to go through the council members. This has to go through the people. This has to be spoken about before it just being implemented and going into effect. And then on top of that, there's no stipulations on these bonuses. So I will be doing a public records request on that. So I will get down to the bottom of this, my people. I will get down to the bottom of this. Let's get back to the video.
City of Mabton was doing, and he offered them a $5,000 bonus, is my understanding, and that is really lowballing, because right now I believe Granger and Wapato or Toppenish, they're offering 10 to 15,000.
It doesn't, yo,
So,
it doesn't matter what these nearby towns are offering. Mabton is not in the financial position to be offering not even $1,000 bonuses. There's thousands of dollars unaccounted for. So how the heck are they giving these cops bonuses? How? Not to mention, she also hired a police chief that has no experience as a police officer whatsoever. He's currently waiting to go into the police academy. How about that? How about that?
you want to go ahead and,
Wait, I have a question though, just, why weren't we told of that? Doesn't sound like you even knew about it either.
well, Steve had brought it to my attention, and he was supposed to have drawn up the paperwork, and he was supposed to have reached out to the attorney.
So Steve Argus, that's the chief, former cop of Mabton that I put under investigation, where his police certification is about to get revoked. He was put under investigation for dereliction of duty, which is failure to act on his duty. He failed to investigate the arson that happened on my car. And the moment that he heard that he was under investigation, he resigned, which is usually the case in Mabton. Once they find out they're on investigation, that's usually what happens. So yeah, he's another one that bit the dust. So let's get back to the video. But as you can see, the mayor's just deflecting as usual, deflecting. Instead of saying, yeah, that the idea was hers, no, it was his, and he was supposed to speak to the lawyer, and you'll see. You'll see.
So as soon as he was gonna do all that, then I would have got it to my hands.
You
Since
see?
it was his call, he was hiring the officers.
It was his call. No. It was his call maybe to hire the officers, but it was not his call to give the bonuses. That was the mayor's call. So don't be lying, Rachel, saying that it was his call with the bonuses when you know damn well it was your stupid idea. Why don't you pay them out of pocket if you want to give them these bonuses? Don't be using the people's money. Pay them with your money. How about that? But then again, you get paid by the people, so it'll still be our money. Incompetence, I tell you.
Hiring, nobody mentioned it at all. Well, not even you, not even him, but you knew about it.
Well, he had brought it to my attention, but I told him that he needed to take care of it with the attorney. And so I don't know if he had, Julie,
What the hell do you hear? That the chief needed to take this up with the attorney. That is not in his job description. He's just there to supervise the police. Why can't the mayor just take responsibility and say that it was her idea instead of putting the blame on others? Why? I'll tell you, because she's a liar.
if he had spoke to you about it.
Doesn't believe in
So he had spoke to me
transparency.
after, it's my understanding, he spoke to me after the offer had been made. And I have at this point seen the text exchange and
So you see that? He spoke to her after the offer was made, pretty much telling you he didn't even get permission from the lawyer, just doing these things on a whim. So the mayor, that goes to show you the mayor's a liar. Okay. Let's just keep playing so we can see what's going on here. And then they're talking about text messages. I'm going to FOIL these messages. I'm going to do a public records request on these text messages. So they better have it, because if not, it's going to be an issue for them.
and former Chief Aragoose has sent me an email confirming that he did offer these employees as an incentive to be employed with the police department.
She looks like she doesn't even know what the hell she's going to talk about. She doesn't even know, like she knows what the hell she's talking about.
A bonus, whether he should have or not, it was within his department budget in his mind. So he previously offered that. This may have been even before I actually started working with you guys, because this was under Aragoose. But he made the offer. These employees accepted the offer. And so the right thing to do at this point is to ratify the offer. Otherwise, you might be looking at losing some qualified lateral officers. It's not ideal how this has played out. I agree, you probably should have seen an advertisement that showed it going out there, but as long as it's within
Exactly.
his budget, he can spend it on the personnel if that's the case. But it in a perfect world, it would have come in front of you that we're advertising for employees with a $5,000 signing bonus, although that is very common. Most departments now to get lateral officers are offering
That's
anywhere
not the
from
point,
$5,000
though.
to $15,000 for a lateral.
Mabton doesn't have the money
So,
to do that.
So this is the resolution that just confirms that the city is authorized to pay that money to the officers.
How if they don't have the money for it?
The council knows that it was just offered to Chief Medelis and Lateral Officer Rodriguez. So for any other officers to be coming in, we will not be offering that. It was just a one-time thing, and it will not go any. No, sergeant would get the bonus. Yeah, excuse me, the sergeant and Rodriguez. The chief will not, but it would just be a one-time thing with just these two officers.
She's saying that now because she knows she wasn't even supposed to do it in the first
Anybody else
place.
who comes on after that.
But the one thing I do want to mention is that, yeah, this isn't something that's standard all the time where anybody we hire is going to be $5,000 bonus. But in the future, if for some reason we are needing experienced officers, the process that I will follow is I will present it to the mayor, make sure we put it on an agenda to present it to the council so that I can explain why we're needing an officer.
This is what needed to be done.
And then we can decide so that everybody is on the same page. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk about Chief Aragouz. He's not here to defend himself and why.
Of
he
course.
did.
Back to blue.
I'm saying that's probably the process it should have followed because it is an incentive pay. It's not something that's done for every officer. That it's not a standard practice for every officer that's hired. But in this case, talking to Chief Aragouz, they were trying to start up the department. He had 2 qualified lateral police officers that have experience, one 15 years and one 8-9 years. And they could have gone somewhere else, but they chose to stay here. So that was what the conversation he and I do remember that he was saying he was going to write something up. And I don't know what happened with that.
Of course, they never know what
Yeah,
happened.
ideally, this would have had
Never.
some type of initial signing component and a longevity component, but the documentation is just not clear enough to break it into 2
See that?
chunks. So
Even she needs
2,500 on hiring and 2,500 contingent on staying 6 months. So in this particular case, I think the safer
probation
approach
is
is to
1
award
year.
it all or approve it all as a signing bonus. But in the future, if we want to offer signing bonuses, maybe it's a signing and retention where it's a little bit upfront and more pending completion of
Mabton
additional
cannot
employment.
afford any bonuses.
But again, I have seen the text exchange in writing. It was before the officers were hired. So you're covered from that standpoint in some ways from documentation. The concern is if you don't approve this, you may have officers that decide to leave because this was something that was promised to them as an incentive. And
But it wasn't in writing, though.
if they're not going to get it, they may not stay.
But hey, it wasn't in writing, so hey, it is what it is, right?
And let's just make clarification that a text message wasn't from me, correct, Julie?
Correct. No, it was from the chief.
Okay, so let's do a public records request on that. We will find out exactly what the text message said.
Yes, it's in the police budget. And it's a one-time thing unless, like Chief Soto says, if we do need more officers and we have the experienced officers, that'll be up to him, and if he's looking for 8 years and up or 10 years and up for experience to be able to give a bonus than that.
Yeah, it'll never be an entry-level officer incentive, never. It'll be because I need somebody that's experienced to help train because, God forbid one of my officers leaves, and I need somebody, well, I will take the steps that I just explained before any offers even made.
And it'll be laterals, right?
Laterals only.
Time I'm meeting.
So what?
Yeah, what was it? Where'd you come from?
The Port of Pasco?
You were working actively when you came here?
Yeah.
So like, he was working actively, he was not, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so he wasn't even a lateral, but
No, he is a lateral because
he's
he's,
because the 5 years wasn't enough of.
well, yeah, because he doesn't have to, he still has academy. So he's still certified.
He's still certified, and then over 5 years.
Yes.
So there you go, guys. I'm gonna pause it right there because that's pretty much, I guess, the gist of it. That's exactly what I wanted to cover. Mabton approved this bonuses on these police officers where they're in no position to be doing any sort of bonuses, especially now with these new cops that they want to get new police vehicles and they want to spend all this money. I don't know how they're getting it, but it's very weird. I will be doing some public records requests. I will be keeping you guys updated on it. So if you guys, like I said, want to do some public records requests, just let me know. We could do them together. But yeah, guys, don't forget, hit that like button. I got new content coming out soon. So don't forget, hit that notification bell. I appreciate the support, Candle Caveman. Don't forget, hit that notification bell. And until the next one, ladies and gentlemen, Auditing Mabton, like, share, subscribe. Peace, 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 peace.